Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Yesterday was a very big day in the association, right? There were a lot of games that were played. There was a game between Boston and Toronto. The Cavaliers played. Both of those teams won that game. There was a pretty close nail-biter in the overtime between the Phoenix Suns and the Memphis Grizzlies. The Rockets beat the Milwaukee Bucks. The Golden State Warriors put the smack down on the Charlotte Hornets. But there was one particular game that everybody was looking forward to, and that game was between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. Let me tell y'all something. Yesterday, I was so tired. I've been on this diet, man, and this joint been getting it's been just basically draining me and all of my energy. I'm hungry. I'm starving like Marvin out here, B. And I was just hungry and I'm tired from the gym. And I'm like falling asleep, okay? Because this game was coming on at 4 a.m. my time. 1 o'clock, I was like, yo, I don't know how I'm going to make it. I had to start watching Batman, the animated series. I was just trying to do every single thing in my power to stay awake. And then I was like around 3, I'm like, man, I'm about to go to bed. I'm tired. Then I see some footage of Anthony Davis, like working out before the tip-off, before tip-off. And I was like, wait a minute, is there a possibility that AD's going to play? And I was like, no, I got to stay up to see if AD's going to play, because that's going to be a real storyline with Anthony Davis back in LA and all of that. So the game started. AD did not play, but Kyrie and these other guys were there, and there was all of this hype and hoopla. And I was excited because I thought that some of these players are going to have a big game, right? I had a lot riding on that game. Klay Thompson ended up scoring 22 points in the game, and I got to say, to begin the game, the Mavs were pretty cold. Like, they were missing layups left and right, but they had multiple possessions in that first quarter, but they were just missing a lot of shots. Max Christie former Laker, finished the game with 10 points and 6 assists. Kyrie Irving went off for 36 points. He had 4 assists, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals and 2 blocks. He did his thing. He did have 4 turnovers, but he played well. But those were only the 3 real bright spots. Spencer Dinwiddie and these guys chipped in single-digit numbers for them. And then on the Lakers side, Rui Hachimura had a great game. He scored 15 points with 6 rebounds. LeBron James had 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 assists, but he did have 6 turnovers. That's a lot. LeBron's turnovers have been quite high over the last few games. Austin Reeves had 20 points, 5 assists on 41% shooting. He did make 3 of his threes. And Luka Doncic, he did have 19 points, 12 assists, and 15 rebounds with 2 turnovers, but he didn't shoot well from the floor. He shot 35% from the floor. And he went 1 of 7 from the 3 to go 14% from the 3-point line. It was really those guys that carried the bulk for the offense for the Lakers, and it was a close game. They won the game by 8 points, 107 to 99. I thought it would have been a bigger margin given the fact that the Mavs were so underhanded in that game, but nevertheless, they came away with the victory. So what's my take on all of this? First of all, Luka's looking good, in the sense that, yes, he didn't shoot the ball well, but you can see that his confidence is beginning to come. He's beginning to find his way in the offense. He ran the majority of the offense. LeBron played well off of him. Is one of the reasons you saw Luka with 12 assists to LeBron's 3. He played off the ball. He was finishing a lot more. So LeBron had an efficient game. He shot 65% from the field, 50% from the 3. And the Lakers look very good, right? You got to give the credit where it's due, although I can't stand LeBron James and JJ Redick, but nevertheless, I still have to give them their credit. They look very good. And right now, I think they're the 3 seed or 4 seed. I didn't check the standings recently, but I think they're 3 or 4 seed in the Western Conference, and they still have room to move up in the standings. So right now, they're playing fantastic basketball. In the case of Luka, and why we mentioned his dominance, was because you can see now the gradual progression in his game with the Lakers. At first, he was kind of trepidatious. He was trying to feel his way through the offense, not step on any toes. But now you're seeing he's becoming more comfortable in his role with the Lakers. You listen to Greg Anthony, and I think it was Doris Burke that also called the game. I could be wrong. I don't remember I think it was Doris Burke. I could be wrong. But they were like, for this team to go where they want to go, Luka has to be the best player. Luka Doncic has to be their best player, and I would agree with her. I think if Luka is their best player, he's going to make everybody's life easier, including LeBron's. I don't think. I think if it was the other way around, they would have struggles, right? So Luka needs to be the one that has the ball in his hand. Just yesterday, we produced the show reacting to some comments that DeMarcus Cousins made on Gil's Arena, where he was like, they now are essentially, you can see that management is prioritizing Luka, which is the right thing to do. He's a star moving into the future. Mind you, the Lakers don't have a long-term contract with Luka, so they want to sign him this summer, right? So they need to do every single thing to appease him and ensure that he remains happy. You don't want to do anything to piss him off, make him feel like he's not the guy, because again, he just came out of a situation where he was the man, and he needs to feel that way. And you can see by some of the things that the Lakers are doing, like when he first got there, they went out there to try to go get him a big. We did a report where I think it was Dave McMenamin or someone was like, LeBron's camp was a bit surprised at how quickly the Lakers moved to acquiesce to some of his demands. But hey, look, he's a new star in town, and it makes perfect sense for them to do that. So Luka looked good in that game. He didn't shoot very well, but his aggression was there, right? And you can see that he's looking comfortable. So this team may be formidable moving forward. I guess we just have to pay attention to them as time goes on and see what they're actually going to be. This is a very delightful show for me. Right, I'm very happy to produce this show. As you guys know, Kobe Bryant is my favorite player in NBA history. Right, I think he's one of the top 2 players of all time. I know I had him as number 3 with Kareem, but nah, Kobe number 2 to me now. So he's one of the top 3 players of all time, and you know, I got a lot of respect for Kobe, and he's the one that made me a Laker fan. Right, followed the Lakers for 15, 16 years. Right, supported them because of Kobe Bryant. But when he left. When he retired, and then LeBron got there was this kind of weird energy going on that turned me off about the Lakers. I was hearing stuff like, you know, what has he done for me lately and all of this, and I'm like, yo, hold up, y'all forgot about Kobe? Y'all forgot about Kobe? Like, y'all gonna throw Kobe away after what? I'm lost. Dude that gave 20 years of his life to this organization, helped bring 5 championships there. Represented the purple and gold without even he was he wore it on his shoulders, right? Unapologetic. I can't even say the damn word, but you know what I'm saying? He's unapologetic about it. So to hear some of that, it kind of turned me off. Then I figured out it was some of these LeBron fans. And then I came to the conclusion that I'm not going to support the Lakers as long as LeBron is there. I made my feelings 100% clear about it. Then they hired that damn JJ Redick, and I'm like, man, it's impossible to root for this team. But then they got Luka, right? And Luka, to me, signified, okay, well, there's some new energy coming in the building, and LeBron and these guys are ultimately going to leave. So when LeBron leaves the Lakers, I can start rooting for the Lakers again. So this morning, I was combing through the internet, and I came across an interview from the one place that I would have never thought I would find this kind of topic, from WorldStarHipHop.com. Imagine, like World Star Hip Hop, which ain't got nothing but a bunch of nonsense on that website. But I went there and I came across this sound. And it was an interview featuring Jeanie Buss, the governor of the Lakers. And they were talking about what it was like when LeBron found out about Luka and da-da-da-da-da-da. And then they were talking about what it was like to land Luka and, you know, what it meant to him. And then she started to describe the Kobe aspect of it. How Kobe's legacy was one of the things that really endeared Luka to the Lakers, even though he was traded without, unbeknownst to him. But once he found out he was going to be a Laker, that really meant a lot to him. And he was like, he wishes Kobe Bryant was there. I'm like, this is what I want to hear. So for those of you who didn't hear what Luka had to say, I want to play it for you now, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to the sound here.
So how have you and your team been part of his sort of intake?
We've embraced his family, his management, everything we can do to make his transition smoother is what we're doing. And, you know, it takes time because he's got to decide, you know, he doesn't know LA. He's got to figure out where he wants to live. You know, there's just a lot going on. Plus, he's got to figure out how to fit into this team. Mm-hmm. But, you know, JJ Redick played with him for, you know, I think a month or so with the Mavericks. So they had a relationship. Dorian Finney-Smith, who had been his teammate with the Mavericks, we had just acquired a few weeks before. So, we're just trying to build that continuity, that community where he feels embraced and, he can accomplish all the things that he wants to. And when I met him, the first thing I said to him, because I think a lot of times when players come to the Lakers, there's such a history that it's kind of like, how am I ever going to stand out when all these great Laker players, how am I going to get my jersey up there? And, the first thing I said to him was, you're going to write your own chapter in the Laker history book. We're so excited to have you. And, and then he said, he really wished that Kobe was there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
He said that.
Yeah. I mean, it's that was like a very important relationship, that, Kobe really took him under his wing and was supportive of him. And so I think he feels that, even though without Kobe present, that there's that kind of feel with our organization. And, we'll do our best.
So you heard what Luka had to say, right? He wishes Kobe was around to see it. Comments like that, I think, really pull in reluctant former Laker fans like myself into Luka. We want to hear that because it seems like Luka understands the importance of Kobe to that franchise and the importance of Kobe to sports, right? There's even that video of Kobe with his daughter at the game and he's embracing Luka and they're kind of talking. Luka was playing and then Kobe said something and he turned around and they embraced. And then, I heard that Kobe brought his daughter there to watch Luka play because he was one of her favorite players. So Luka saying that he wishes Kobe was there is something that I think is going to work well with a lot of Laker fans. I think a lot of Laker fans would be happy to hear something like that this guy is kind of part of what the Lakers are all about, right? And I ultimately think that when LeBron ultimately leaves the Lakers, I think that there's going to be way less drama with the team. Yes, they may go through dry spells where maybe they're not playing well, they're having struggles, but I don't think it'll be what it is now. I don't think all of that toxic energy and coverage that surrounds the Lakers on a daily basis will be what it is. And I think it's going to be refreshing. Now, Luka is a diva. He has his antics as well, but so does every star, to be quite honest with you. But I don't think it'll be to the degree that it is with LeBron. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that ultimately, when LeBron does leave the Lakers, it will make it easier for people like myself to root for the team. Now, I did hear something yesterday that I hope is not true. Because if it is true, I don't know how I'm going to root for the Lakers ever again in life. I heard a report from Too Raw for TV, and he was like, he heard a sound of Dwight Howard. I forgot on whose podcast he was on. And essentially what he was saying was that Dwight Howard spoke to LeBron James. And LeBron told Dwight Howard that his plan is to get his son on the team, which he already did, get his other son, I believe Bryce, on the team, and then become the owner of the Lakers. And when I heard that, and then have it like a family affair, to quote Dwight Howard, paraphrase rather, and then it'll be like LeBron and the Lakers. If that happens, I'm never supporting the Lakers ever. I will never support the Lakers. I'm sorry. I will never do it. I will never do it. If that happens, I will never do it. Nope, absolutely not. I cannot be. This is the thing. You can't be a Kobe fan and be a fan of this dude. I just can't. And then when you now have him being a part of the Lakers, which has been just an absolute mess ever since he got there, just drama and drama. I would never do it. Absolutely not. Now, the likelihood of that happening is close to nothing. It's close to zero. I don't see how LeBron would take over. Why would it be a family affair when they didn't even give it to Magic Johnson, who owns some shares in it, but they didn't even give it to him? But they're going to give it to you. I'm lost. Why would that happen? Why would they give it to LeBron, of all people? Because of what? Right? So I don't see that happening. But if that were to happen, you can count me out for life. There's no way in hell I would ever support the Lakers, even if he's not playing, but he owns the team or something. It's just not going to happen. we got an interesting one for y'all. As you guys know, yesterday, there was a big game in the NBA between the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Lakers. Going into that game, there were a plethora of storylines. One storyline was Anthony Davis, the Mavs, the team that traded away Luka, coming to LA. So it's going to be the first time Luka plays against his former team. Second storyline, how was Luka going to play? He was going to have a big game. He was going to go out there and dominate and all of that. Then leading up to the game, shortly before the game started, I saw footage of Anthony Davis training in the Lakers arena. I'm like, damn, is AD going to play? I wasn't sure. So that got me kind of hyped, right? And a lot of people were looking to see how Luka was going to perform in that game. And going into that game, I actually had high expectations, not just for Luka, but for all of the players that were involved, because I felt that the Lakers players would want to go out there and ensure that, number one, they got a victory. Number two, they feed Luka so he goes out there and has a good performance. And as the game was going on, in that first quarter when Luka was hitting these long distance threes and all of that, he would turn over to the bench and stare at the bench. Nico Harrison, there was a picture I saw this morning of him while Luka, I think, was a shoot around or something, and he was there watching Luka shoot, and he had this like disgusted, dejected look looking at Luka, and I believe he was talking to Malika Andrews. They were sitting at the scoreboard and they were looking at him, right? So there was a lot riding on this game, right? And I rarely get emotionally invested into these games because I already have gone through enough emotional trauma dealing with Kawhi Leonard and all of that. Y'all notice I don't even waste no damn time talking about Kawhi Leonard no more. It's just a waste of my time. I'm not even going to go through that nonsense. But for this game, I was emotionally invested. I actually stayed up till 4 a.m. 4 a.m. So that happened. The Lakers go out there, they win the game. Luka up there putting up triple doubles. LeBron James damn near put up a triple double. Luka had 19, 12, and 15. Bron had 27, 12, and 3 assists. They all had a great game. Austin Reeves played a good game. And Rui Hachimura played a good game, right? So I woke up. And as I'm going through the internet, y'all won't believe what I found, and most importantly, the place I found it at. I seldom go to worldstarhiphop.com because there's always a bunch of nonsense that's on WorldStar. But something told me to go to WorldStar. So I go to WorldStar Hip Hop, and what would you know? They got an interview of Jeanie Buss. You heard me right. Jeanie Buss on there talking about when he was asked, I think it was the Rich Hyman show, where he was like, what was it like when LeBron first found out about the Luka trade? And she gave this response like, son wasn't too happy about it. So for those of y'all who didn't hear what Jeanie Buss had to say, take a listen to what she had to say about LeBron's reaction finding out that they traded for Luka, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to that there.
I can't believe Luka Doncic is a Los Angeles Laker. When you look and see him in your Lakers 77, what are you thinking when you see that?
When in my position, when you see certain players in the league and you think there's no way I'll ever have that player on my team, like it's just impossible unless you draft a star like that. Mm-hmm. They usually don't move. And, when the opportunity came up, we were not looking to move Anthony Davis. He was he was our rock solid player. And so we had to give up a lot to get Luka, but the opportunity to get him. And, I look back and, the last time I saw Kobe alive was about a month before he passed. And he had brought Gigi to the Lakers game to see Luka play because Luka was Gigi's favorite player. And, it's just the idea that Luka is now a Laker. I know how happy that would make Kobe and Gigi.
How happy has it made LeBron?
I think it's working.
No, I know. But I also, listen, Jeanie, I understand the sensitivity here because Anthony Davis is a terrific basketball player and was, I'm sure,
it's a championship
right there on the ring on your finger from 2020. And I also understand that he was definitely your vision of when LeBron does retire, that's the guy you want people to come down to crypto.com to go see. And I totally get that. And now it's changed. It's now Luka in that role. So I understand the sensitivities about all that when it comes to Anthony Davis, certainly tonight with the Mavericks being in the building. But that said, when did it arrive? When did it finally first land on your radar screen that Luka was a possibility even in your world?
The conversation started a couple weeks before the trade was executed. And what was really important was Rob Pelinka, the general manager, and I, we did not want any part of it to leak out because it's very disruptive to a team that's trying to focus on getting better. We have a rookie coach in JJ Redick, and the idea of blowing something up mid-season to make a trade like that, if it didn't go through, would have repercussions. So it was really tight-lipped, and each step of the way was discussed, and we were able to make a deal that both sides were comfortable with.
Well, mission accomplished on keeping it quiet.
So you heard what she had to say. You heard her response. That sounded like a person that's, when he found out, wasn't too happy about it. And it also coincides with some of the reports that we got where they were like LeBron's camp was surprised at how quickly the Lakers moved to try to get the Lakers a center the minute Luka Doncic requested one. And they were like, we had been here trying to get the Lakers to make moves, use their picks and all of that stuff, and they weren't even budging. Then this guy walks in the door, and all he has to do is snap his fingers, and all of a sudden these guys are scurrying all over the place trying to move furniture for him and make sure he's comfortable. Look, it's interesting watching the Luka hysteria, watching the coverage of Luka. Luka is the number one bill. Like, he's the one being marketed going into the games. It's Luka, 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 Luka. Even in the post-game analysis and people talking about it, it's all Luka. And that must be a very interesting feeling for LeBron fans and the LeBron James himself, right? Because LeBron is used to being the attention. We got some of his wacko-ass supporters online talking about they're showing Luka preferential treatment because he's white. Meanwhile, the entire media has been covering up for LeBron for the past 20 years, but he's black. But now it's because he's white. They can't really handle it, right? Even because I watch the games on NBA through the NBA website, NBA.com, and usually before every game they have like the image of the two players from the respective teams. And ever since Luka got to LA, it's Luka. Usually it used to be LeBron. Now it's Luka, right? All the marketing, all of the hoopla is Luka, right? So that must be a little bit strange. And I'm sure LeBron was taken off guard because I don't think he knows, right? Some people felt like he knew. I don't think he knew. I think he was taken aback because usually there's no type of decision like this is made without him knowing, or those people feel like he does know. But this is a clear signal like this guy's a new guy in town. And if LeBron wasn't getting out of the way of Luka, and you could see like Luka was struggling with him on the court, people would start looking at LeBron like, yo, son, why are you impeding this dude? Like, let him live, right? So you can see that even on opening night when they introduced him, he went last. Jeanie also said that LeBron was the one that facilitated that. So it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting moment for LeBron fans. But what essentially they're experiencing is like, now, okay, like every other player, his time is also passing. And now there's a new star in town, and they don't know how to really deal with it. So